Jalen Rose, there's a huge game in the Eastern Conference tonight between the Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers, and it could not come at a worse time for the Sixers, who have lost some games recently. And sometimes when you're losing games and microphones are in front of you and people are asking you questions, you might say the wrong thing. Let's listen to some of the Sixers talk about the state of the Sixers and their offense.
Time to time, you don't know what you're getting. I don't know if I'm going into the game and if I'm getting the ball or not.
There's some stuff going on in our locker room, and we'll keep that internal. But we all know we need to be better.
I love that those two bites. We got him saying we'll keep it internal, and then you got Joel Embiid being like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know. It's like it's a lot going on. And if you read between the lines, there is some real problems in that locker room, especially if you listen to Joel Embiid, who seems to be throwing Brett Brown under the bus. Listening to that, Jalen Rose, what is your read on the Sixers locker room?
So since it's a team game, it's only right, instead of putting it all on one individual, I'm going to spread it out a little bit. It's only right. I'm going to start with the first soundbite, and that was Al Horford, seasoned veteran. Not having a notable season.
No.
He's had his peaks and valleys, in particular when Joel has been out. When you let us know that there's some things happening in the locker room, they're not private anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid, he's going to have a career where he's just going to deal with injury. And so if you're going to build a team around him as your anchor, you're going to have guys that's going to bring it every night, but also guys that understand that when he's in the game, he's going to want to be featured. That's just what he's going to expect. For Ben Simmons, if he was in a situation where they were building a team around him and surrounding him with shooting, that would maximize his game. But since the team isn't built like that, it gets exposed that he doesn't attempt shots outside of the paint. And then Tobias Harris is their highest paid player, but hasn't necessarily taken on a leadership role. So you have those four guys that you're investing your most money and your most equity into. They should be the framework of turning the Sixers' fortunes around. I know Richardson has dealt with some injuries, and I like his toughness at the point. Adding Burks, adding Robinson is going to help off the bench. And Korkmaz can shoot it, Scott can shoot it, but those core guys got to be the difference.
Jalen, while you were spreading the blame all around to basically the entire Sixers roster, you're missing an important figure who I believe deserves a pretty large slice of blame pie. That is the head coach, Brett Brown. How much of this do you think is on Brett Brown? Do you think Brett Brown his voice still resonates in the locker room, and do you think he will finish the season as the Sixers coach if their struggles continue?
I'm not blaming the coach on this one. Okay. Because that's why I got you guys. When I look down at the clipboard and I got Embiid and Ben Simmons and I got Horford and Tobias Harris, like, what else do you need from me?
I love it when you do this.
Like, I've seen them play in person. They're not making shots from the perimeter. They're not hustling on defense. They're not sharing the ball. They're not communicating. They're not sacrificing for one another. These are pros. All of these guys get over $100 million to play for that squad. Like, they got to be the difference. They have to be the difference. At the end of last season, when Kawhi Leonard gets the ball at the top of the key, the coaching staff says, when he comes off this high pick and roll, do not let him turn the corner. When you let him turn the corner, you give him a chance to do something spectacular on the baseline. And he makes a game-winning shot in Game 7. They're not far off. It's not time to panic. But they do need to show a sense of urgency because they have the talent. I'm not putting it on Brett Brown.
Okay. Jalen, you mentioned Robinson and Burks. What do you think they will add to this team?
Depth. They need more guys that can get a shot off the dribble, that can score in flurries, and some more athleticism. Robinson is a former dunk champ. Burke can change ends of the floor. And it allows Ben Simmons to play up front. That's another thing. He's gonna basically be the starting primary ball handler without always having to dominate the ball. And then when you take Joel out, he's gonna basically be like a power guard, like a 4 that's really slashing and playing those minutes. So I think it strengthens what they're trying to do. But again, their core four has to be the difference to what takes place in Philly.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.